Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Was Betrayed by Girls and Adopted Baby Naruto movie. Before we start, please go support some Texas 2 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. Chapter 1. Why did they do this to me? I'll send you to another dimension. Who are you? I'll explain it to you later, just help me. Because I should help you. I know who you are, Issei. I know what they did to you, but I will tell you or you will not trust me. Issei, where am I? You are in my home Dimension 0. Issei, Dimension 0? This is where I create you along with other alternate Issei. Issei others? Look, I am known as one of the many gods in my world. There are others who like to see you suffer, cry and hurt yourself, but I am no exception. I see you suffer in so many ways that I am sick of you ending up suffering or like a crazy, arrogant psychopath. I don't want to see you suffer anymore, and that is why you have a mission, and that is to help a little one who suffers just like you. Issei, I don't deny that, but tell me your name and why you are carrying a cat and a book at the same time. I am the creator of these worlds, I am some Texas 2. And this is my friend Rias, my pet. Issei, I know you want to send me to another world, but Great Red would easily find me. You're wrong, Big Red. I can't travel through dimensions like I can. I can only teleport to another world in your universe. Issei, I see, but I'm not in the best mental health right now. Dojo clenching his fists. This is not who I thought you were. I see what's happening. I'll give you back your memories and an ability that you lost, so goodbye. Issei, wait, I haven't accepted. But this one was swallowed by a portal. Issei, I hope you manage to get that child to change, otherwise it will be the downfall of his world. Well, keep writing what you think, Rias. Meow. With Issei. He was falling into the depths of the portal, and was passing memories of his past life with his current one. Ah, faster. Issei, I'm sure you don't want to come with us. Ah, don't stop. Issei, we will always be grateful to you. Ah, you are very good. Issei remembers that we will always be brothers. Ah, don't suck, there's Zenovia. Issei, you will always have the Knights of the Apocalypse on your side. Because? He only had his hands on his head as he fell into the great void. 4 hours later. In a forest, Issei could be seen lying down and sweating, but then he heard some footsteps. Look there, there's someone lying down. Issei, help. It moves. Issei, pple.ss faints. Minato-sama, I think he's from some village. Minato, I don't think so, he doesn't have his ninja band and he's tired. Check the ambu's perimeter, maybe it's a trap. 15 minutes later. Ambu, there is nothing in the distance, so this man was attacked. Minato, it's the safest thing to do, we have to take him to the village, if he continues like this he won't last long. Chapter 2, The Passage of Time. It was all dark, you could hear a beep every second. But where he was, he began to open his eyes. He saw that he was in a bed, connected to some machines. The entire room was white and had a curtain around it, it was a hospital. Then someone came in. Minato, I see you're already awake. He just stayed silent. Minato, I see that you are not one for many words. Look, I'm going to ask you some questions. He just nodded. Minato, what's your name? Issei, my name is Issei. Minato, no last name. He nodded. Minato, what elemental country are you from? Issei, elemental country? Minato, yes, what elemental nation are you from? Issei, I'm not from any. Minato, how old are you? Issei, 17, said to lie down on the bed. Minato, that's all, thank you. He left in a blur and appeared in a tower that had a symbol similar to the band Minato wore on his forehead. He entered the tower and went to the floor where they were waiting for him. Hiruzen, Minato, how did it go with the young man you found in the forest? Minato, okay Hokage-sama, I bring you the report. Hiruzen, tell me. Minato, Apparently he is not from any elemental nation, he is 17. His mental state is stable, and what the nurses told me is that his physical condition is good and his chakra reserves look like the wings of an Uzumaki. Hiruzen, you're saying, he's not from any nation, then we found a gem to be a ninja. Minato, but there is a program. Hiruzen, and that's it. Minato, when I asked him what nation he was from, he didn't know, which means he's not from here. So I came to a conclusion, and that is that he was isolated all this time and they didn't let him out until he escaped or simply lost his memory. Hiruzen, then you don't know anything about the village. Minato, that's right. Hiruzen, this is your mission. I ask you to tell him about the village and ask if he wants to be a ninja and show him the village. Minato, but what if he's a spy? Hiruzen, in that case I will send an umbu to watch him when he returns from his adaptation to the village. Minato, hey. After that Minato returned to the hospital. Minato entered Issei's room. He just looked at him. Minato, you're not from around here, right? Issei nodded. Minato, well, I'll keep you informed of what it's like here, but if you tell me where you're from. He just nodded. Minato began to tell him everything about the nations and how the chakra came about, the tailed beasts, and that there were 5 chakra elements, and that is why they were called the elemental countries. Minato, I already told you my story, now it's your turn. Issei told him how he lived in a distant village, but he only said it for show, since no one would believe him. Minato, then he was from a distant village and that's why he didn't know about the elemental nations, he said, and then spoke Issei, do you want to be a ninja? Issei just looked at him and thought about it with a downcast gaze. Minato, it's okay if you say no. Issei, I accept. Minato, what? Issei, I agree to be a ninja. Minato, great. Tomorrow you will be discharged and I myself will show you the village. Issei, it's okay. Minato, well, rest, the day has passed, he said to see how it was already night. Issei just nodded. The next day, Issei was discharged and went to explore the village with Minato, who showed him the restaurants, bars, shops, and squares that were in Konoha. So the days went by until Issei was already well placed, so Issei took the genin exams, which he passed quickly because thanks to his chakra reserves and his ability, that the god returned to him, he passed the exams without difficulties. Issei had to hide his face, because women chased him just by looking at him, similar to Kakashi. Issei continued his chunin exams, so he passed them without difficulties as well, since he not only improved his senses, but also his muscles and his ability, which is why he did not show it. He also passed the jounin exams, so it could be seen that he had improved a lot, not only in strength, but also in intelligence and his ability. If not that he was also respected for convincing others to do trade with him and the village, if not also of a war, like the one between the country of lightning and Konoha, he convinced the Raikage not to invade Konoha and maintain a peace, after a long time. And he not only made contracts with other nations to sustain a viable peace, but he also made alliances with neighboring villages. Not only would they thank him, but they would also give him a fairly large sum of rios. So with the money he also began to buy goods in Konoha and the different nations. But something else came up, and that is that the wife of the newly minted Hokage Minato Namikaze was pregnant, Kushina Uzumaki, which is why she became an umbu, as a favor from Minato and his partner Kakashi Hatake, so he had a little more time. Issei not only took advantage of his free time, but he also began to train and buy goods in all the villages and companies. End of chapter. This is not all, I am giving you a preview of what will happen in the following chapters. Advancement. Humanity has taken its first step towards extinction, the weight of destiny falls on the shoulders of Issei and Shiva. Straight from the indie what but who? Oh, so he's the one who's going to fight, the top of the humans versus the top of the gods. The second confrontation is about to begin. Issei, the most hated by my enemies, every likeness of him, his greatest reincarnation, but that is why I left my world, I fight for what I love and that will never change, I always adapt to whatever, I am the representative of humanity. Zeus, be kind to you, now we start with everything, just on a whim and destroy by my own way, Father God of the cosmos itself, Zeus, yeah, the true God among gods. Chapter 3, The Birth of the Chosen One. 8:30 p.m. Issei could be seen at a window, watching Kushina and Kakashi in the same way, but he was reading his books. Then, they heard something break and saw Kushina holding her belly. In that instant Issei told Kakashi to go tell the Hokage. He nodded and left in a cloud of smoke. Change of scene. The Hokage could be seen doing his paperwork, but he was interrupted by an Umbu, who noticed and asked him, "Minato, what's wrong, Kakashi?" "Kakashi, Hokage-sama, Kushina-sama is about to arrive." "Minato, what? Quickly tell the nurses to prepare the cabin, and you and Issei come with me, to protect Kushina." He nodded and left to tell the nurses. "Minato, well, the day has come, don't be nervous, you'll soon be a father." This was with his jutsu, he was teleported to his house. "Minato, Kushina," he said to see how she was holding her belly. 1 hour later. "Minato, Issei, you check the perimeter with Kakashi." Change of scene. A Kushina could be seen in a cabin while giving her maximum effort to give birth. Then a cry was heard. She was tired and started crying when she heard those cries. A boy was born, with blonde hair and red streaks. But then he started screaming again, and when the nurses saw this, they were in for a big surprise. Then after a few minutes another cry was heard and then another child had been born, but this time he was a red-haired boy with blonde streaks. And the last one was a blonde girl. Then Minato wanted to see his children but the nurse prevented him. She put each baby next to Kushina. "Kushina, Minato, come closer." Minato, seeing his children, began to shed tears, as he was the father of triplets. "Kushina, what will we name them?" she said, exhausted from childbirth. "Minato, the first one we will name, as Rias suggested, Naruto." "Kushina, we will name the girl after my grandmother, Myth." "Minato, the last one we will put, the name that occurred to me before Naruto, Menna," he said to hear some applause. Then he saw how a portal opened, and from it came a masked man with a black hood. Then in one swift movement he took the children away from her, they were crying. "Minato, release my son." "Tobi, of course Hokage, I will let them go if you give me the Kyubi Jinchuriki." In a quick movement, he kicked the subject, but he vanished in a cloud of smoke. He quickly grabbed the children, but saw that there were paper bombs in the blankets, so he threw the blankets out of a window, they exploded. And he saw where Kushina was. "Tobi, it was a pleasure doing business with you." This one went into a portal. With his jutsu, which was respected and feared by the villages, he teleported to his house. He grabbed his cloak which said, "Fourth Hokage," and teleported to where they took Kushina, but it was too late, and they had released the Kyubi. And the masked man apparently activated a Sharingan and began to control the Kyubi. At that Minato called his apprentice and best student. "Minato, Issei!" Issei appeared in his Umbu outfit. "Issei, at your command, Hokage-sama." "Minato, I want you to help me keep the Kyubi at bay while I try to seal it in my son." "Issei, are you sure you can seal it in your son?" he said with concern. "Minato, this is the duty of a Hokage, to give his life for his village and sometimes sacrifice his family." "Issei, I guess I have no other choice," he said resignedly. "We sealed that fox," he said, and then disappeared in a blur. Here the same thing happened as in the original story with Minato and Death. Then it was seen how all the ninjas fought against the Kyubi, but they were easily destroyed. Then the Kyubi was charging a huge attack, and once the attack was finished he launched it at the village. It was just about to touch the wall. You hear someone say a jutsu. "Issei, earth jutsu sacred walls," he said, to touch the earth and start growing the walls quickly. "If I came alone there were 100, they would be earth walls just as resistant as almost the diamond. It would barely be enough to stop the attack of the Kyubi." The attack was created and launched, but as Issei predicted it barely survived the impact and explosion. But he didn't stay there because he started making stamps with his hands. "Issei, water jutsu Poseidon's chains," he said, and then chains came out of the ground since there was enough humidity to create them. all thanks to the night and its breeze. Although they were not as strong as Kushina's chains, they were enough to stop the fox for a few minutes. He began to make seals with his hands again. Issei, fire jutsu, great fire dragon, he said to inflate his chest considerably, and then expel it like a great fire dragon. This hit the Kyuubi full on, stunning it for a few moments. Then other times he started making stamps. Issei, wind jutsu blizzard dragon, he said as he began to inflate his chest with air, and then release it, and see how a large air dragon came out. This hit Kyuubi's head, annoying him. Then, in a moment of carelessness, the Kyuubi hits him with a tailspin, causing him to fly away and become unconscious. Change of scene. Minato could be seen with his children and an exhausted Kushina from the release of the Kyuubi. In that, Minato makes a hand seal, which was for a forbidden jutsu. When he finished, you could see how a grim reaper rose from the ground. But then they saw how the Kyuubi lunged at them, causing Minato to become alarmed, as the Kyuubi was going to pierce them with one of its claws. Minato and Kushina stood in front to prevent their children from getting hurt, but they didn't feel anything. Something was heard in that. Issei, Minato, do it now! He shouted, because he had the Kyuubi finger with which they were going to pierce them. Minato, Shinigami-sama, I beg you to seal the Kyuubi and my children. The Shinigami just looked at the little ones and then looked at Minato, then he started talking. Shinigami, okay, damn mortal, just because my lord told me not to take your soul, but I warn you something, one day you will regret what you will do in the future, he said, and then sealed the Kyuubi in Menma and in myth. Then it was seen how the Kyuubi entered the two babies. Minato fell very exhausted, because apparently, the Shinigami did not take his soul but his chakra. He saw that Issei fell exhausted and his wife had the two newborns in her arms. This brings a smile to the face knowing that he will be able to see his children grow up. Then Hiruzen appears, who was trying to save the inhabitants. Hiruzen, Minato, are you okay? Minato, yes, I just don't have much chakra. Yonde Megame a favor, take Kushina and my children to my house, please. He accepted and took the two babies and his wife. But they forgot about a certain blonde, who was crying because of how cold it was at that moment. Then someone grabs him to rock him. Issei, they left you here, right? He said, putting his umbu shirt around him so he wouldn't be cold. I'll give you a bath and then I'll return you to your parents, he said, disappearing. Chapter 4, The Ragnarok. In the dimension of DXD. The long 7 million year history of humanity and supernatural. It's coming to an end. The cause? A nuclear war? Or an asteroid collision? Or maybe an alien invasion? No. At the moment. Gear, it's just starting, sister. Humanity wants to be led to its destruction. For nothing more than by the will of its creators. The gods. The Council of Valhalla. Seat of Parliament. An old man could be seen walking calmly. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Here we go. Oh, come here, cute. Grrrr. Well then, listen to me, everyone. It's been 50 years since we all gathered here, said an old man sitting on a throne with a dragon at his side, or rather. Let's start the conference, said Zeus, president of the Council of Valhalla and Greek god. Once every 1,000 years, the gods of each realm gather to hold a conference. The conference on the survival of humanity and the supernatural. But this was an exception. Gear, wow, all the gods are gathered here, she said, surprised. Zeus, on the survival of humanity and the supernatural, for the next 1,000 years. We should forgive them, he said, showing a sign with a circle. Either. We should finish them off, he said, showing a sign with an X on it. Show me the will of the gods. At that point someone from the gods speaks. If here you have it, said a god with 2 arms showing 2 X's. Everyone watched him expectantly. Let's cause the apocalypse. Does that seem okay to you? Said a god with 4 arms. This was the god of creation and destruction, the god of Hindu mythology. Shiva. Shiva, from what I have seen over the past 50 years, it seems that humanity and the supernatural have no intention of repenting. Trying to guide them is a real pain. Once we eliminate them all, let's try evaluating another animal. Gear, it couldn't be, how could it be? He said, his voice trembling. It's true, it's just as you say. Shiva-sama said, a goddess so beautiful that any man would succumb to her beauty. She was the Greek goddess of beauty. Aphrodite. Aphrodite, over the last 50 years, the earth has become ugly, the seas are full of waste and oil. Forests have disappeared and animals have been becoming extinct one by one. So to speak, humanity and the supernatural are the cancer of the earth. A calamity will lead the earth to its destruction. Isn't it true? Then the gods began to give their comments. Aphrodite is right. If humanity and the supernatural are dangerous and evil, there is no salvation for them anymore. Let's finish them off, said all the gods. Gear, it's just as Hilde-sama said, the will of the gods is to finish them off. Humanity and supernatural will be. It is impossible to oppose the will of the gods. If the conference vote on the survival of humanity and supernatural, it ends with a unanimous vote to terminate them. Humanity and supernatural. It will be inevitably destroyed. In complete and total annihilation. If the gods want, it is impossible for anyone to stop them. You could see how some structures were destroyed, as in the human world, the underworld, Grigori, heaven, and everything related to the supernatural. Zeus, I guess we've reached an agreement. So, the end of humanity and the supernatural has been decided, he said, about to hit the gavel on the table. Brunhild, please wait a moment, she said, shouting, making Gear tense and everyone look at her. A Valkyrie? She's a Valkyrie, right? Gear, what the hell are you doing, sister? Can't you say wait a moment for the will of the gods? Brunhild, excuse my intrusion, angry gods, I have something to say. At that everyone sees her, but some crows that were standing on the shoulders of hatred spoke. White crow, mind your manners, Brunhild. Gear, how scary. White crow, stupid demi-goddess. Black crow, how dare you open your filthy mouth at this conference of gods? The crow said angrily. But in that one could see the supreme Norse god, Odin. Brunhild, it's true that humanity and the supernatural are incredibly vulgar and violent. But destroying them like that is a bit much. Odin, boring. Brunhild, regardless of whether humanity and the supernatural have any value or not, why don't we put them to the test? With the power and mercy of the gods. White crow, test them? Do you want us to flood the earth? The crow said mockingly. Black crow, or maybe send them an ice age. Brunhild, no, but I have a more effective way to test them. What is it about? What are you planning to do, stupid? Say it now. Brunhild, the gods against humanity and the supernatural final fight Ragnarok, she said, drawing the attention of all the gods. Gear, are a Ragnarok? Brunhild, Valhalla Constitution, Article 62, is explained in paragraph 15. 1 versus 1 matchup. Between gods and humans and supernatural. The gods against humanity and the supernatural in the final fight. With 13 fights on each side. Brunhild, the first to get 7 wins. Obviously, if humanity and supernatural lose 7 fights, their fate will be decided. In the unlikely event that humanity and the supernatural win, they will be allowed to live for 1,000 more years. Although this rule has never been applied since the creation of humanity and the supernatural. And the reason is, win against the gods. It is impossible for humanity and supernatural. This super special clause was taken as a joke. White crow, ha, I don't know what you're thinking, but it seems that you Valkyrie don't understand anything. Black crow, humanity and the supernatural are no match for the gods. Your proposal is absurd. It's true, it would be too easy. Why do we bother fighting them? It's ridiculous. I didn't even remember that we had such an old law. Brunhild, so the will of the gods is to destroy humanity and the supernatural and also avoid direct confrontation between humans and supernatural beings. Black crow, huh? Brunhild, we want to destroy humans and supernatural beings without fighting them. We don't want to be put in the same ring as them, he said mockingly, now innocently. It won't be that you. They are scared, he said mockingly at the gods. Then the voice of all the gods was heard, laughing. As if it were a little child's prank, they began to laugh. Brunhild was confused, but still. Gear, and aren't you angry? Disdaining the pride of the powerful gods. The comment that provoked them was none other than, if anyone suspected that the gods fear humanity and the supernatural, they began to insult the Valkyrie. It would be the greatest humiliation for the gods. Gear, it's obvious that the gods were angry, sister, what the hell were you thinking? It's true, Brunhild was confused. I knew it. Compared to humans, the gods are easier to provoke. Zeus, I see, Ragnarok, he said, caressing his dragon. What an interesting proposal. Well said, your proposal is an absurd and good one, he said, killing the dragon. Idea! Besides, it's been a long time since we saw each other, don't you believe? The power of the gods, he said with a scary face. What do you think, should we have a battle between the gods and humans and supernatural beings? He said, causing the gods to be shocked. Here. The battle between the gods and humans and supernatural beings, Ragnarok, has been decided. Chapter 5, The Passing of Time. Issei had taken Naruto to his house. His house was Japanese style with 5 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a large living room and a large patio with several details. Naruto was covered in dirt as a newborn, so she decided she would hand him over later. Not knowing how to bathe the baby, he quickly sent a clone to a nearby pharmacy. You might be wondering how not everything is destroyed, since Issei, when containing the Kyuubi, the village suffered minor damage since only tremors were caused by Issei's fight. Issei's clone asked the pharmacist what soap was for a baby and what he could use to clean him. The pharmacist gave her a special baby soap and a soft type of sponge. Issei's clone quickly left. Issei had filled the tub with warm water just in case. When the clone arrived, he brought the soap and sponge. He got into the tub with Naruto. Apparently he was right because Naruto was comfortable in the water, so he began to clean with the sponge and soap carefully, since it was the first time he bathed the baby. When he finished, he was surprised to see how well he had done. Then they left the bathroom and Issei realized something. Because he didn't have clothes for Naruto, he hit his head for not remembering. He put Naruto in bed with several toallas so that he wouldn't be cold. He dried himself off in a flash, got dressed, and sent a clone out for some clothes. 10 minutes passed and the clone arrived with the clothes and Issei began to dress Naruto carefully. When he finished this, he saw how Naruto was asleep and covered him with a blanket and took him to the Namake's house. He saw how there were 2 cribs in a room. He was surprised. Because the 4th knew that he had 3 children, he sent a clone to bring a crib. After a few minutes he brought the crib and put it next to the other 2. He placed it and left Naruto there and he left. The next day, Issei could be seen on the roof of a house, as he was waiting for the Hokage to give him his next mission. This one, already tired, went to see the Namake's house. When he arrived, he went to Naruto's room and saw how he was crying. He wondered why Kushina wasn't going to comfort him. She came in and started to lull him. He calmed down, but he heard his stomach growl. Realizing that Naruto was hungry, he created a clone and sent it for a bottle and milk. And so time passed until Naruto was satisfied. I clarify that I am narrating how things are happening after the Kyuubi attack. After that, he was given a mission to kill some renegade ninjas who were wreaking havoc in a village near Konoha. Issei, if I go quickly, I'll come at night, he said for him to leave. Already at night. It was 10 o'clock and he had returned from his mission. He went to see that blonde baby, because he had grown fond of him. After going to see him and feed him, he left. After that I leave a shadow clone to watch over him. But when he got home, he never expected to have an unexpected visitor. It was the fire daimyo who was standing at his door. Issei, with all the respect he could muster at that moment, spoke to her. Issei, I, Sir Daimyo, what is offered to you in my humble house, he said with a bow. Daimyo, Ah, so you left Issei-san. Issei, yes, excuse me for not being there. It's that I went on a mission and I just came back, he said nervously. The daimyo, seeing this, just gave a small laugh. Daimyo, don't be so formal, Issei-san. Issei, but you are one of the great authorities of Konoha like me, I could disrespect you. Daimyo, well, you invite me in. Issei, of course, come in, this is your house, he said, opening the door. They went to the living room to talk. Daimyo, I'm really surprised this has happened in just 1 year. Issei, thank you very much, he said, bringing 2 cups of tea. Daimyo, how did you do it so fast? Issei, ninja skills aren't just for doing missions. Daimyo, okay, Issei-san, I'll get straight to the point. 1 hour later. Issei could be seen bidding farewell to the daimyo. Daimyo, Issei-san, thank you very much for welcoming me into your home and reaching an agreement. Issei, you're welcome, daimyo-sama, he said, bowing. He just nodded and was escorted by his personal ninjas. After that came Uchiha, Hyuga, Yamanaka, Haruno, and other people who came to see Issei to talk. The next day. This one could see an exhausted Issei because he had to do things until 2 a.m. He went to Minato's office for his new mission. This was given to him, and he left a shadow clone to take care of Naruto. 6 years later. A child could be seen being chased by villagers with pitchforks and torches. The shinobi saw this, but just passed by. Until the little blonde boy ran into a dead end. Villager 1, damn, we finally caught you. Naruto, but why are they chasing me? I didn't do anything to them. Villager 5, since we can't take it out on your saviors, we'll take it out on you. Villager, besides, you have the same characteristics as that demon, he said, pointing to his mustache. Villager 36, let's finish him off, he said, raising his pitchfork. Naruto tried to defend himself, but he couldn't. He just cried and begged for someone to help him. It seemed like he was going to take his last breath, because they kicked him, punched him, and hit him with the trench sticks, and he could only see blurry. Until a hole like a villager complained, it was a blue flash. Apparently it left some electricity in its wake, and he saw how the villagers fell like flies. Naruto, ISS Issei, Odo-san said, to fall unconscious. Issei was angry. Not angry was little compared to what he saw, because he could be seen with a murderous aura covering that entire alley. When the villagers turned to vines, they all looked in terror at the umbu that was standing there. They tried to run out of the alley, but some clones prevented it. Issei umbu. At that moment 3 umbus appeared. Umbu 1, what's going on, Dragon-sama? Issei, I want you to bring me all the shinobi guarding this entire area, but now, he said, shouting and with authority. They nodded and left as quickly as they appeared. 10 minutes later. All the shinobis who were guarding that area appeared, along with the umbus in that damp and chilling alley. There were about 15 genin and 5 chunin. The shinobis were nervous, because before them we are the umbu captain and left hand of the Hokage. The dragon umbu was the most feared by all the shinobis, not only for having a serious character but for how bloodthirsty he can be at times. Issei, can you explain to me what this means? He said, pointing at Naruto with several bruises, cuts and scrapes, which were already bandaged by Issei. Shinobi 1, hey, what does that have to do with him calling us? This bothered Issei even more, who made it clear by the creation he was exerting. Issei, what does it have to do with it? You are supposed to protect the children and people of this village. You don't have to let them hit you. Shinobi 6, BU, but he is the reincarnation of the Kyuubi. Issei, tell me one thing, if you have a son, would you like him to be beaten to death? They all denied it. Issei, and if it is not the supposed reincarnation of the Kyuubi, what would they do? Everyone said nothing. Issei, just saying, I'm sorry, won't fix things in the future. What if this little one tries to destroy the village in the future, and why? Just because some idiots did nothing. The future is in the children, isn't it? Everyone had their heads down in shame. Issei, now, hand over your bands. Everyone was surprised by what was said and were going to protest, but Issei speaks again. You do not deserve to be shinobi if you only rely on stupidity. you will return to the academy so that you can relearn the values are ashamed, and everyone handed over their bands. The villagers thought they were going to get away with it, but they didn't. Issei, and you are going to pay a fine for child abuse of 30,000 rios. She said to leave with Naruto in her arms. Chapter 6, Negotiation with the Uchiha? And Training. Issei had taken Naruto to his house, and he accepted him in his bed. He could only look at the little one with sadness. Issei, those bastards always do it on this date. If they do it again, I'll kill them, he said with a murderous aura and anger. Then he saw the little blonde boy move. Naruto, what happened? Issei, don't move, Naruto, you're still very sensitive, he said with concern. Naruto, Issei Oto-san? Issei, yes, it's me, don't worry, I'm already here. Naruto, are we at your house? Issei, that's right. But at that moment Naruto remembers everything that happened. He just looks down, and tears begin to come out of his eyes. Issei, seeing this, hugs him like a father hugs his son. Naruto, why do they always hit me on this day? This was supposed to be a special day for me, he said with his voice broken. Issei's heart broke upon hearing this. He could only console him. Issei, calm down, what did I tell you? A man never cries, see where that smile is, he said in a playful voice. This causes Naruto to laugh, see there it is. Naruto, Issei Oto-san, yes, you brought what I asked for, he said with stars in his eyes. Issei, seeing this, just smiles, seeing how quickly I changed my mind. Issei, of course, champion, here I have it, he said, taking out a scroll. This one puts chakra into the scroll and a plushie appears? Issei, just as you asked and with the same characteristics, this is it, right? He said, showing a somewhat peculiar stuffed animal. Naruto, hi, this is the one I saw in my dreams, they are kawaii, he said with stars in his eyes and taking it out of the box. Issei sits him on his lap and says, Issei, happy birthday, son. When he said that, Naruto shed a few tears, but he looked happy. Naruto, thanks dad, he said, a little embarrassed because it was the first time she called him that. Issei was perplexed by what he heard, but it made him happy, as was Naruto. Issei, how about we go to Ichiraku and then to karaoke? Naruto, yes, but why karaoke? Issei, I composed a song for you. So Issei and Naruto left, but not before healing Naruto's wounds with medical jutsu. Issei and Naruto left the house and went to Ichiraku. When they arrived, you could see some redheads and a blonde eating ramen. They did not notice the presence of the two and left. Naruto, seeing this, became sad, seeing that, because his family didn't even notice it, but Issei caressed his head, making him happy again. Issei, good afternoon, Tuchi, I am. Tuchi, good afternoon, Issei, may I help you? Issei, a pork miso ramen with an extra spicy taste. Tuchi, they're coming out. He placed the order and gave it to them. They began to eat. Issei finished 3 plates, while Naruto finished 6 plates. Issei, thanks for the food, he said, thanking, and took out his wallet to pay. Naruto, come on, Issei, we have to do more things, said the imperative blonde. Issei, here I go, wait for me outside. I obey the order and wait outside. I don't know why you take care of that nuisance. If you could adopt a better child than him, I think that's why his family left him aside, for being useless. Issei, upon hearing that, showed notable anger and released a bit of his murderous aura. Issei, be careful what you're saying. If I was merciful to your father by crawling here to reach an agreement, believe me, it will be different with you, he said, throwing 10,000 rios. Keep the change. It will be stained by disgusting people anyway, he said, leaving the restaurant. Inside the premises. Who does that guy think he is? Just because he's an umbu captain, he'll do whatever he wants. Tuchi, what happened? Why did I feel that murderous aura? It was that Issei ninja. Just because I told him why he was taking care of that nuisance of the Namake's family, he got angry. Tuchi, what did you do? What? Father, why do you worry so much if he's just an idiot with airs of greatness? Tuchi, you don't understand anything, do you? Understand that, father? Tuchi, close the place. I'll tell you everything. This one closed. Now tell me why I have to close the store, and why you are afraid of it. Tucci, look, sit down. A few years ago the business was almost bankrupt. This surprised I am, and then the business sales had dropped sharply. There was no money for the bills and you were sick. I went looking for someone who would lend me money to cure you and sustain the business. But no one could lend me money, or they just didn't want to, so my only hope was Issei. I went to see him, and he lent me money to cure you and sustain the business. Today without him, our business would have collapsed, and you would be dead, he said with regret in his words. I am dead? Tucci, yes, since you contracted smallpox and pneumonia at the same time. That's why I'm saving a certain part of the profits to pay in 10 years, since Issei gave me 16 years to pay you. With Issei and Naruto. These two could be seen standing outside a building. Issei, this is it, come on let's go, and Naruto gave a smile and entered the building. He asked for a room with instruments, and the owner recognized him and immediately gave him the key. These were, and Naruto sat on a sofa. Issei grabbed the guitar and began to tune it. Then he created some shadow clones and they went to where the other instruments were. But before playing he put a recorder. Issei, I hope you like it, Naruto, he said through the microphone. Then this started. When it was over, Naruto started to cry. Because not only did he like it, but it was as if it was telling him not to give up on his dreams. Well, he told him that he wanted to be Hokage or leader of a clan. Issei, happy birthday my little one. When he said that, he stretches out his arms and Naruto throws himself at them so they can give each other a father and son hug. Chapter 7, Negotiation with the Uchiha and Training Part 2. After that Issei and Naruto left the building, heading to their house. When Issei arrived he went home, he went to the kitchen and began to prepare dinner. Naruto just played with his stuffed animal and toys that he had in his own Issei room. When Issei finished, he realized that it was already night. He just put on a smile and took out a cake with 7 candles on it. Issei, Naruto, let's eat. He ran to the dining room and sat down looking at a chocolate and vanilla cake, which he loved only better than ramen. He gave him a plate of stew, and he began to eat. Naruto, more vegetables too, he said with a pout. Issei, if you don't eat them you won't grow, and you won't eat cake, he said to continue eating. Naruto, okay, he said a little more animated. He ate them quickly, and then he cut the cake into pieces. Issei went to the kitchen to get a knife and leave the plates. He returned and lit one of the candles. Issei, make a wish. Naruto closed his eyes and blew out his candles, extinguishing them all. Issei clapped his hands and began to cut the cake. Then he took this out of the closet, a box wrapped in paper. When she opened it, she could see a 9-tailed fox costume. Issei, try it on, he said so that Naruto would put it on, and Issei almost had diabetes. A while passed and Naruto said something to Issei that surprised him. Naruto, Issei Oto-san. He just raised his head. Naruto, I want you to train me to be a shinobi, he said with determination. Meanwhile in DxD, a meeting takes place. As the buildings had been destroyed out of nowhere, there were the mouse, archangels, fallen, yokais, Nordics, Olympians, Hindus and many more important entourages, the Vala team. Seré, as you know, many important buildings have been destroyed in recent days, both for demons and Aztecs. What we don't know is who did it? Brunhild, I can answer that, she said as she left the portal. Azazel, who are you? Brunhild, I am one of the 13 Valkyrie sisters, Brunhild. Michael, and what are you doing here, Miss Brunhild? Did Mr. Odin perhaps call you? Brunhild, I do not serve the Odin of the supernatural world. Seré, Odin said looking at the old man, but he looked equally confused. Brunhild, I just came to inform you of something extremely important, which may end with supernatural and human beings. Azazel, if this is a joke, you better regret it now, he said seriously. Brunhild, my face tells you that I'm playing, she said irritated. Michael, what do you have to tell us, Miss Brunhild? Brunhild, the gods are about to destroy you. Seré, Shiva, what does this mean, he said, seeing Shiva of the supernatural world. But he seemed equally confused. Brunhild, I don't talk about these gods, I talk about the real ones. Azazel, explain yourself. Brunhild, look, the gods of this world are not real, they are just, like saying a copy, but with less power. What the hell? Brunhild, and since the gods created them to guide humans, they were not happy with how they were enslaved because they saw that both the supernatural world and humans were just a virus on this planet. Seré, that's why some buildings collapsed. Brunhild, that's right, but the worst thing is that with just a small blow, they were able to knock him down. Everyone was surprised by this. Brunhild, but there is still a choice. Azazel, and that's it? Brunhild, they will have to participate in 13 battles to avoid being destroyed. Azazel fighting? Brunhild, that's right, the first one to get 8 wins is the winner. Michael, and the one who loses? Brunhild, if the supernatural world were to lose, they would be completely wiped out. Azazel, if we lose, will the human world be destroyed too? Brunhild, no, because human and supernatural will be separated, each will have their own battles. Azazel, now the problem is who is going to participate. / we will participate. Azazel Ophis Big Red? Big Red, that's right, but we need an old enemy of mine, he said in a more human way. Michael, you can't be serious. Azazel, not him. Big Red, that's right, I'm talking about Triexa. Seré, you're crazy. Brunhild, I agree. We will not only have to rely on intelligence but also on power. With that we have 3. Valley, I will participate. Azazel, you've heard them, it's not a threat you can handle with your valid power. Valley, yes, I know, but just thinking about fighting such powerful beings makes my blood boil. Seré, in that case I will also participate. Ajuka and me. Indra, I think there is no other option. Azazel, I may be rusty, but with some proper training I'll be in shape. Michael, as the leader of my faction I will be in these fights. Brunhild, perfect, only 4 participants missing. Vala, what about the Red Emperor? He is powerful and has his unique way of gaining power. Seré, it's true, you laughed where you were, Issei-kun. Rias, I don't know, brother. Seré, it seems you don't know where it is. But then Vala felt the aura of all the girls in the club. He was surprised and furious. Valley, Gremory, bring him back using his pieces, he said with his head covering his eyes. He obeyed the order, and then 8 pawn pieces appeared. This left everyone surprised. Then Valley approached Razor and hit him in the face, causing him to spit blood. Razor, what's wrong with you, idiot? At that point Vala began to divide the power. Valley, and you still have the nerve to say it. After sleeping with those damn hitches, you know what they did. They were all more than surprised, especially Seré, who was angry. Seré, what does this mean? Laugh. Rias just remained silent. Razor, and if so, do you care? Valley, of course, they just committed a murder. Everyone froze. Azazel, what are you talking about, Vala? Valley, we as dragons are not only characterized by our power, but we are completely faithful to our partners, and we love them so much that if they betray us we die. When he said that everyone looked at Big Red and he nodded. Azazel, then he is. Valley, dead, he said, making everyone look at everyone in the club with hatred, and not only that but the Red Emperor too, since he is part of Hida's soul, it dies with him. Albion, even I know that, that's why I never took a partner from Drake, because we are rivals. But that doesn't mean I respect him, said the dragon seriously. Michael, so what are we going to do? Azazel, for now, get a new participant, and after these fights we will give a decent burial to the hero of the factions, and as soon as you, he said, pointing at Razor and the girls. Seré, I will discuss it with my parents and the Phoenix family. Michael, I'm from Irina and Zenobia. Odin, I hope this doesn't affect her. Ross. Baraquiel, Akeno, we will talk about this. Chapter 8, Negotiation with the Uchiha and Training Part 3. Issei, what did you say? Naruto, I want to be a shinobi. Issei, Naruto, being a shinobi is putting your life in constant danger, even your loved ones. Naruto, then why are you a shinobi? He said to see how he fell asleep. Issei, come here, little one, Let's go to bed, he said to carry Naruto to his room. He put him on his bed and covered him with a sheet, then he stood at the door. Issei, I hope you're doing the right thing in training him, he said to go to his room. The next day. Issei, hey, wake up Naruto, wake up, he said to see how he didn't wake up. If you don't wake up, I won't give you chocolate cake. Then you could see how he woke up in an instant and got out of bed. Naruto, Issei Odo-san? What time is it? Issei, 6 a.m. Naruto, and why did you wake me up? Issei, don't you remember? Let's train. Naruto, but I thought you said no. Issei, I never said that, so come on and put this on, he said to throw him a suit similar to the umbu. Naruto put it on and felt the chest weigh down a little, so after walking for half an hour they headed to training camp 55. Naruto, Issei Odo-san, why are we here? Issei, here I will teach you the basics of being a shinobi. Well, first, I can't give you physical exercise, because you are just a child, so we will train your chakra control. Naruto, hey. Issei, well, first of all, if you see those trees, the blonde nodded and they came closer. Well, you have to do this, he said, to step on the tree and start walking on it like that, you see. Well, the trick to this is to put a little chakra in your feet, and this will improve your ability to do the jutsus without wearing yourself out too much. So what you have progressed, mark it with this kunai, he said, throwing a kunai. The blonde nodded and began to try to walk on the tree, but fell on his butt. He tried this again and again. Issei saw this from afar, but began to meditate. At that moment, a clone that he had sent to tell the Hokage that he would be absent for a week arrives. Issei, you told the Hokage that he would be missing. The clone nodded. Okay, he said to dispel the clone. Then he opened his eyes and saw Naruto walking slowly but steadily up the tree. So it went on until dusk. A tired Naruto could be seen breathing heavily. Issei, well, Naruto, you can control him a little now, so let's go back, he said, carrying him on his back. Naruto, I know I can continue, just let me sleep a little. Zzzzzzz. Issei just smiled seeing this. They arrived at their house and Issei went to leave Naruto in his room. He stood at his door giving the blonde a smile, but he changed his smile to a serious look and he left for the Uchiha complex. This while he was walking through the almost empty streets of Konoha, remembering the meeting he had a few days ago with the council elders and the Hokage. Flashback. You could see in a room with a round table in the center, the Hokage Minato Namikaze, the two advisors Koharu Yuditane and Hamura Midokado, the root leader or known as the Old War Hawk Danzo Shimura and the Umbu Captain Issei, and the last one the old third Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi. Hiruzen, Minato, why have you called us to this meeting? Minato, on an important matter, a topic that puts the Leaf Village in danger. Hamura, and that would be it. Minato, it's about the Uchiha clan. Koharu, what's wrong with the Uchiha? Minato, lately the Uchiha have been moving away from the village and behaving very strangely. This includes that they have increased their forces in their clan, and one of my spies has detected that some of them can use a more powerful Dijutsu, called Mangenkyo Sharingan. This allows them to activate a unique ability for each bearer. Which is worrying because if we are not careful they could carry out a coup against the Leaf. Danzo, if you allow me, Minato, I have also noticed that since my umbus have been spying on some of them, and we have managed to obtain very important information. Minato, what kind of information? Danzo, well, your suspicions are true. The Uchiha will try to carry out a coup d'etat, since my umbus managed to infiltrate the complexes and found this, he said, to launch some plans. Minato, what is this? Danzo, these are sabotage plans to weaken the village's shinobi forces at different points. These are points that they have been planning for days and weeks. Minato, this is unheard of. Danzo, I don't know what you believe, but it would be better to finish them off, because the war between the village and the Uchiha clan would not be avoided. He said this calmly, but in his mind he was ready for his plan to have the Sharingan he wanted so much. Minato, who disagrees with this? Almost everyone raised their hands except Issei. Well, we just have to convince someone to exterminate the Uchiha. Issei, wait, Minato, you're forgetting something. Minato, and that would be it. Issei, I don't deny that the idea is good on Danzo's part, but if you think about this, the Uchiha are a fundamental part of the village, both politically and militarily, because let's not forget that they are 10% of the shinobi in the village, not counting that they are the village police, not counting the two prodigies. Hiruzen, well, that's a very good point, Dragon. Issei, aside from that, we will have a meeting with those from Iwagakure, and in case we do not reach an agreement, or they declare war on us, it will be very beneficial on the battlefield. Hamura, so what do you propose? Issei, I will try to negotiate with them so that they do not carry out the coup d'etat, and if I do not reach an agreement, their Danzo plan will be put into action. But in case I succeed, I want the two Uchiha who are en route. Minato, okay, you have a week. If you manage to convince them, your request will be accepted, but if you fail, we will put the Danzo plan into action. Issei, hey. Chapter 9, Negotiation with the Uchiha and Training Part 4. Issei could be seen walking through the dark and cold night, through the streets of Konoha. He walked in a specific direction. The Uchiha complexes. This one was wearing his mask and his umbu suit. He arrived at his destination and knocked on the big door. Then two guards opened it. Guard 1, what do you want? Issei, I came to see the Uchiha leader. Guard 2, I'm sorry, but you didn't request an appointment, so we can't let you in. But then Issei with a sigh took off his mask and you could see his face covered with a handkerchief from his nose to his chin. Issei, and now how about it? Guard 1, ISS Issei-sama, please excuse me, may I come in? He entered the complex and went to the Fugaku address. When he arrived at the house he wanted, he knocked on the door. Then he opened the same Fugaku. Fugaku, Issei, what do I offer you tonight? Issei, he comes to talk about an important matter that concerns both of us. Fugaku, sure, come in, he said to open the door and head to the room of the compound. Issei, well, I came to see you because some rumors. Fugaku, what rumors are you talking about, Issei? Issei, even I have investigated it, and have come to the conclusion that I have discovered the plan of the coup d'etat that they are trying to carry out. Fugaku, but how did you know? Issei, Fugaku is more than obvious. A blind person could see it with plain sight, how close they became after the Kyubi Fox, their distance from the village and the newly built wall. Fugaku, and what do you plan to do? Will you annihilate us for being traitors and defending our ideals of being fair? Issei, no, I'm not like Danzo or Sarutobi. I want to prevent innocent blood from being spilled and make peace. I know the reason why they distanced themselves. Fugaku, so and tell me why? Issei, it was after the Kyubi attack. The High Command believes it was you, since something could be seen in the fox's eyes that night, and that was the Manjikyo Sharingan. From what I know, some of you have it, right? Fugaku just nodded. Issei, but I know it wasn't you, since your loyalty back then was unquestionable, so much so that you yourselves went to fight the Kyubi and evacuate the citizens. Fugaku, so what did you sell for? Issei, I come to make a deal with you. Fugaku, what kind of deal? Issei, I offer you more power in Konoha, some inventions for your crops and training methods, with it protection in the enclosures and also making peace so as not to shed blood. Fugaku, in exchange for? Issei, let all of you who have Manjikyo Sharingan show them to me so that I can remove all doubt that you are the traitors. Fugaku, do you think any of us have it? Issei, if so, it will come to light, because I came face to face with the Kyubi and I saw his eyes. I need something to draw. Fugaku, yes, take it, he said, passing him a piece of paper. Issei, that's how the Sharingan is. Fugaku, there's no doubt that it's a Manjikyo, but are you sure it was one of my men? Issei, I doubt it, but if it is one, I will have to arrest him and take him for treason to Konoha. Fugaku, okay, Issei, I trust you and no one else, so I'll gather all my men with Manjikyo to see who has him and end this once and for all. Issei, that's how it will be, Fugaku, but I need it to be in a private place, that's all. Fugaku, so be it, he said to bow, and Issei doing the same. So leaving the Uchiha residence. After that, Issei told the council that he convinced the Uchiha not to do the coup and establish peace again. making Danzo foam at the mouth from the rage he felt. 2 weeks later. And so time passed where Fugaku gathered his men with Manjikyo and doing a review of their Sharingan, resulting in none of them having that Manjikyo. This was Issei's report. The evidence that the Uchiha clan is trying to stage a coup is completely false, given the accusations. And before me, it is hereby notified that the Uchiha clan is declared innocent, in the face of the attacks of years past. Taking into account all the law, I qualify the council as reckless in almost disappearing a clan, due to a suspicion not properly investigated and accusing without any concrete evidence. Yours sincerely, Commander of the Umbu Forces Issei. After that, Issei kept his word, giving the Uchiha what they promised. Giving them a recipe for hydrogen fertilizers. An Umbu training list where they would improve their endurance, strength, agility, and speed when attacking. He strengthened security in the Uchiha compounds and finally gave more power to the Uchiha police, where they could investigate further, see some files that were secret, and gave them more say in the council. So 2 months passed, and things were improving. The Uchiha had broken down the wall, and became more open again. Their arrogance was diminishing noticeably, so much so that they no longer trusted in their Sharingan, but in their own strength. While at this moment they were celebrating Mikoto Uchiha's birthday. You could see Issei standing at the entrance carrying Naruto in his arms. Issei came dressed in a white shirt with white pants and black shoes. Naruto came in the same way as Issei, making an iconic father and son. Many, upon seeing Naruto arrive, were upset. But with one killing intent from Issei it was enough. Issei, Naruto, how about you go with Sasuke to play? Naruto, seriously, thanks Issei Odo-san, he said with a big smile. So he went to Sasuke, who was with Mikoto. Naruto, Sasuke, let's play, let's go, he said imperatively. Sasuke, may I, mother? He said hopefully. Mikoto, come on, she said with a smile, play in the lake there, you can be calm. Naruto, whoever comes last is a rotten egg. Sasuke took off like a bullet with Naruto. Chapter 10, A New Home. Naruto and Sasuke could be seen in the small lake that the Uchiha family had. They were playing catch until they got bored of it. Naruto, hey Sasuke. Sasuke, yes, where? Naruto, Issei Odo-san taught me a cool trick, do you want to see it? Sasuke, yes, why not? Then Naruto goes to the lake and starts walking on it. Sasuke, great, but how do you do it? Naruto, well, he told me that it's about concentrating chakra in your feet, where if you put a lot you'll fly away and if you put a little you'll sink. Sasuke, great, I'll tell Itachi Niken to teach me that, he said with starry eyes. Issei, Naruto, Sasuke. It's time for cake. Naruto, here we go, he said to get out of the water and go there. When they arrived, they saw that everyone was gathered to sing happy birthday. After that, Fugaku approached Issei to talk about a matter. Fugaku, Issei. Issei, yes, Fugaku? Fugaku, you still don't know, right? Issei, what are you talking about? Fugaku, from this he said to give him a paper, which said, you are invited to Menma and Mito's birthday, at the Namikaze Uzumaki residential. Issei, seeing this, had an inexplicable fury knowing that they had forgotten about Naruto forever. Issei, Fugaku. Fugaku, yes, Issei? Issei, after this event I will have to go to another country. Fugaku, what, but why? Issei, you know perfectly well that Naruto is like my son and seeing him destroyed will hurt my heart, so I will have to go. Fugaku, I know, you know he's a good kid, he's talented, I still don't think they'll forget him, but you'll do what you've been telling me for a long time, he said to see how he was eating a slice of cake with Sasuke. Issei, that's why I don't plan on letting him suffer anymore and I will do it tomorrow morning. Fugaku, it's okay Issei, you will have all my support and that of the clan, after all you have done so much for us. Issei, I know, and don't forget my deal, eh? Fugaku, yes, I know, he said, sighing heavily. After that the party went on as normal. Until the afternoon came where Issei left with a sleeping Naruto. The next day, Issei could be seen in the Hokage office. Minato, Dragon, what a surprise, what can I do for you? Issei, I need you to sign this for me. He gives the papers to Minato, who reads that it is an adoption form, and he happily signs it without hesitation when he sees that Issei wanted to have a child. Minato, you know, I thought you would never adopt a child to raise. Issei, yes, in fact I decided yesterday. Minato, well, congratulations, he said to give him the papers so he could leave. Issei, oh, and tell Mito and Mem a happy birthday, he said as he left the office. After that everything went on as normal, until Mito and Menma's birthday arrived. Naruto, as usual, was in his room, because he knew that the celebration was for his brothers since they never called him or gave him any gift. This one just went up the stairs to listen to the whole party. Everything was going normally, until Minato and Kushina walked by to make an announcement. Minato, good evening, today I have to make an important announcement for our family, he said happily and hugging Kushina. Kushina, well, as you know, our children have the power of Kyuubi, which means we will send Mito and Menma in a special training to control the power. Minato, and as a gift, Menma is given the Toad contract and Mito the Slug contract, with which Tsunade and Jiraiya will train them to be the next undisputed heirs of our clans. This surprises everyone since training them from a very early age means that they have great potential in the shinobi's arts. On the other hand, Naruto listened to everything his parents said, something he did not expect, since being the first to be born meant that he was banished and repudiated by his clan on both sides. He just started crying and went to his room. He just listened to how they had fun, how they laughed, while his dreams were crushed and completely broken. It was a while before there was a knock on her window. He simply looked and saw that it was Issei. He will open it quickly and hug it. Issei, surprised by this action, asks Naruto what happened. He tells him everything his father and mother said about how they officially banished him, granting him the clans of Mito and Menma. Issei, Naruto, I want you to prepare your things in this scroll, and as soon as it's here again we'll leave, he said while giving him a scroll. You already know how to put things away, like I taught you. He just nods and quickly goes to put his things away. Issei, angry and furious, just leaves. Seconds later, he is seen outside in the backyard of the Namikaze Uzumaki family. Issei, Minato Namikaze, he shouted without his mask on. People hearing the scream look out the window to see who it was. A few minutes passed, but he didn't come out. Issei quickly throws a kunai at the window. It breaks and hits a picture where 5 members of Namikaze Uzumaki were. And why 5? Well, easy, Naruto had a younger sister of 5 years. But anyway, at this moment Minato came out with his wife. Minato, Issei, what do you think you're doing? He said furiously when he saw what he did. Issei, Minato, face me now, he said seriously. Minato, that's absurd, Issei. If you want to come in, it will be another time. Issei, it's not Hokage training, it's a battle I'm asking for. Minato, Issei, to do that you have to be a deserter ninja or a wanted class S, he said seriously. Issei just crouched down, Minato thinking he was asking for forgiveness, but what he didn't expect was for him to take off his Konoha headband and cut him in half. He puts it on and does the battle pose. Chapter 11. There is no turning back. Everyone was shocked by what the Hokage's student did. The best of his apprentices had defected to face the Hokage. Minato, Issei, you know there's no turning back, right? He didn't say anything, and in a blur he appears behind Minato, and a few millimeters after making a cut with his kunai he disappears. Everyone was surprised by his speed, agility, and reaction time. He was undoubtedly the best student. Minato had underestimated Issei. He never expected his speed to be such. Luckily for him, he had left some kunai scattered all over the house. And now the two of them looked at each other, student and teacher. Minato took his kunai and proceeded to throw it. Issei also throws himself, deflecting the 3-pointed kunai upwards, and suddenly appears above it with the kunai in hand. Knowing this, he takes out his double-edged sword on his back, blocking Minato's cut. The two began to have a titanic fight. The small forest that had the residents disappeared, because the cuts, speed, jutsus and power, made the trees cut into two. But there was a clear advantage in endurance on Issei's part, since so much inactivity on Minato's part affected his performance. Jiraiya, aren't you going to help your master? He said, looking at Rin and Kakashi. Rin didn't die here since they didn't manage to get the four-tailed bijou in. They nod and go to their master's aid. Already arriving there, see Minato breathing heavily and an Issei in front of him in a battle stance. Kakashi, Issei, stop, you're just causing chaos. Rin, why are you doing this? What do you want from all this? Issei, go away, this is none of your business. Kakashi, if you wanted to prove that you are the strongest, this is not the way. Issei, I'm not doing this to prove anything, it's to beat him up for reasons they don't know about. Rin, if that's the case then we have no choice but to stop you, he said as he appeared with Kakashi and Minato. Issei, then so be it. Rin quickly begins to heal on Minato, while Kakashi uncovers his eye to see his Sharingan, and launches himself against Issei. This one proceeds to remove the weights from his arms and ankles, which moves at an impressive speed. Kakashi was now in trouble as he barely saw Issei, who was doing a jutsu without recognizing what it was since this was new to him. Issei, water jutsu. Poseidon's chains. Then the water rises from the ground in the form of chains and grabs Kakashi from all sides. He could no longer move or make any movement. Issei, Minato taught you well but not enough, he said to start touching his chest and fainting him. Rin, Kakashi said worriedly, but she was kicked by Issei with force, causing her to faint from the force of the impact. Issei, useless, he said, and then looked at Minato. I believed you were one of the best leaders in ninja history, but look at you now, you're just a bleeding piece of meat. Menma, leave my dad alone, he said with a katana. But this one only touches her neck, so she faints. He disappears and heads off with Naruto. Only two clans knew what was coming, as they already knew the result. They already knew that Issei was going to be the winner, as his resistance and supernatural body gave him an abysmal advantage over Minato. The Nara and Uchiha knew that a crisis was approaching in Konoha, since Issei had already been a pillar in recent years in the branches of engineering, mechanics, infrastructure and modernization of completely everything with electrical equipment, agriculture and others, and counting on that he had all the plans for his inventions. So they couldn't do anything with Issei. Issei, okay Naruto, you've already prepared everything, we have to go, he said to see one of his clones in the window. Is it already done? The clone just nodded and passed him some scrolls. He kept them in one of his storage seals that he had on his body. Naruto, yes Issei Oto-san. Issei, okay little one, let's go, he said to cover him with a blanket and go out through his window and seal his house with Uzumaki blood identification seals so that no one can enter, and not content with that he puts a magic spell on it, where the house could not be demolished, not even by the most powerful of jutsus. So he left Konoha, heading towards another country that he knew would benefit him. On the other hand, Danzo was overjoyed. His plan had worked, because Issei was now a deserter. He knew that if he left, the Uchiha would no longer have their protector. Now he had access to all of Anbu's inventions. Obviously he didn't wait and sent his route to go ransack Issei's office. So he entered his office, but what he saw left him stunned. She was destroyed, as if a tornado had passed through her. He quickly headed to his hiding place where he was waiting for the Uzumaki scrolls that he stole from Yuzushiogakure. But they weren't there. Then he looked at his desk and saw a bag. He opened it and saw 3 heads of his own from the squadron he had sent. In one note he said, "This is what happens when you try to steal a stupid mummy." Now he was furious. He had been insulted and humiliated, so he called his route immediately. Danzo, Crow, go get that damn deserter Issei and bring me his head right now. Take those necessary and bring me his head, it's clear. Raven just nodded and disappeared. Then more than 200 root umbus could be seen. They came out of the secret doors and went in search of Issei's head. 8 hours later. Issei, we're almost at the arena, just about 3 more kilometers and we'll be free. Crow, too bad it won't be like that, deserter, he said with a katana in hand, and more umbus appeared. Issei, I see, so Danzo already saw my farewell gift, ha ha ha. Crow, it's nothing personal, But we'll have to kill you and give each other that load you're carrying there, he said to see how his other umbus had appeared surrounding Issei. Issei, fine if that's what you want, he said to create 3 shadow clones which gave them the blanket with Naruto. Don't let anything happen to him, understood? Now you, he said again, and created 8 clones, and the umbus were alert. Don't interrupt me while I do my technique. The clones launched themselves against the umbus, so that they temporarily leave Issei. He raises his hands forward and puts chakra into his hands to make a circle, then the yin and yang symbol appears. Then he put his hands in the 2 small circles and began to rotate the yin and yang as if it were a gear. The umbus that were closer heard how their 2 enormous doors with gears were opening. Issei came up with this technique because he saw an anime where they used this attack against their enemies. Issei, whale style, fist flowing like water, crushing rock.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.